first thing they would ask before they even asked if we were okay was the drugs. And I would get upset. Doesn't matter how he passed, my son is gone.
My name is Lynn Reyes. I'm Travis's mom.
Everyone is so fixated on how he passed, that he made those decisions. They forget that he was a person. He was a young man, he was my son, he was a brother, he was a person, regardless of how he passed.
I'm Courtney Reyes. Travis was my brother. I guess I'll describe him a little bit as a sibling. He was a jerk sometimes, you know? As any sibling can be. I mean, for the longest time, him and I definitely didn't get along when we were younger, and then I think a lot of us getting along started towards the end of him graduating, like high school. We weren't in the same schools. A lot of people avoid the conversation. I think that they say they're so sorry that he passed, and that's about it. And I think some people cringe when we bring up something about Travis or like a funny story, and they're like, their face gives it away, and they're like, oh, here we go. We're gonna talk about Travis now. And I think a lot of that has to do with the way that he passed.
These are Travis's guitars. This is his first guitar, and he got this one a couple years after. He taught himself how to play, and everybody keeps telling me it's dirty, but he dropped some hot wax on it, and I left it there. I just want to keep it the way it was at his house. Everything up on the shelf, the change, the dollar bill, is what was in his pocket the day he passed away. So Dan kept it all. And then Travis had a hat rack, and Dan left every hat in the same order it was when we picked it up. He won't let anybody change the hat order or move it around. Everybody talks about a mother's grief. A father's grief is just as bad. Dan has trouble expressing it, but he hurts a lot. By leaving Travis's hats in this order, or the last time Travis was here, he brought his own shampoo and face soap. That's still in our shower 3 years later. He won't let anyone touch it. Travis has his own shelf in the bathroom. So a father's grief is just as bad. When Travis first started struggling with addiction, it wasn't talked about as much as it is now. The epidemic, it's talked about so much that people don't want to talk about it anymore. They're like tired of it. And I'm sure you've seen people post on, I don't know, the Manchester page or the Concord page. Every time there's a dead body found, one less person we have to take care of. One less addict out there. People have no idea that that addict or that person is somebody.
Someone made a comment and said, all she posts about is her brother. And they're like, we don't need to open our Facebook and see that, and da 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 da. And I just kind of was like, well, then unfriend me. Like, I think there's some people that are so like desensitized and they just don't want to talk about it and want to talk about addiction. And I think our family is a little more apt to that, because I think it's more like they didn't see him for so long, and I think some of it's kind of guilt with it.
My name is Joanna Mishno. I am friends with Dan and Lynn. I met Dan and Lynn just before Travis passed away. I think it was just a couple weeks before Travis passed away. We met them through their business. Listening to them has been a big part of understanding and having a different perspective on addiction. Talking with them, I think it's sad to think that, you know, we'll talk with them about how sometimes they want to talk about Travis because it's what they have left. The memories of Travis is what they have left. And there's times when they try to talk about Travis and people will change the subject, or they'll want to talk about Travis, or they'll be talking about Travis and someone is telling them it's time to move on already. Or I've lost this person in my life so I can relate, when I think sometimes people just don't know what to say and they say the wrong thing.
When we plugged Travis's devices in, all these text messages from the drug dealer started coming in. And Dan started reading them, and they stated where they would meet, what type of drug, how much it was going to cost. And they met up. The last message from the drug dealer on Travis's phone was, "How did it do you?" By the time he sent that message, "How did it do you?" Travis had already passed away. We find these messages and we bring the devices to the police department. We also find a prescription bottle. We bring that to the police department. The chief of police sits down with us at a table and he says, here's his death certificate. If you look at the bottom line, it says accidental overdose. We don't investigate accidental overdose. I said, but you know who the drug dealer is. We don't investigate accidental overdose. I don't have the manpower. We don't have the time. We don't have the funds. I have to worry about scheduling my police officers and buying their uniforms.
Travis was a person, and I think that we forget a lot of times when you see someone with addiction, you just kind of, I don't know, you dismiss them as a person, or you think that their life has less value than yours. And you don't realize that they didn't want to be, most people don't want to be addicted. They either start off using it recreationally and it evolves into something more, or from what I understand in Travis's case, from talking to Dan and Lynn, it was one time changed his life. Just one time got him hooked.
He was a big kid, so I think that was part of his intimidation. And then,
Yeah, but everyone called him Panda
yeah,
because they think of Kung Fu Panda, and so they associate him with,
the Kung Fu Panda.
yeah.
He was big and hairy. So yeah.
Gentle but tough.
Yes. And he didn't get mad quickly. It took him a little while to get mad. But when it came
Maybe
to
with
you,
other people, I'd push his buttons quick.
yes, but siblings do that.
Yeah, that's true. He pushed mine right back.
Yes.
But he was also a little scared of me, too.
6 or 7 months after Travis passed, I was in downtown Franklin at the bank for an appointment. And I'm a little early, so I'm waiting outside. And there's a guy standing there. And I turn around, and it's the drug dealer. I was physically ill. I saw him and I was ill. I was getting sick. I was looking at him and I'm not understanding how he could be on the street in Franklin, on Main Street, talking on his phone with not a care in the world. And Travis will never walk down the street. Travis will never talk on his phone again. But there he is walking around. It doesn't seem fair. He's a man in his 40s with children of his own.
This one point, as we're cleaning, both my mom and I are in his room. And it was just the two of us, and I think my dad was outside, or he was in the kitchen area or something. And all I remember and all I see is my mom standing next to the bed, screaming, because he passed away on his bed. And she's screaming at the bed, yelling, "Why?" Like hysterical. And then she like turned to me and walked over to me and kept screaming it too and like shaking me. And all I remember is saying, "I don't know, I don't know, I don't know." And I'm like screaming for my dad on the top of my lungs because I didn't know what to do. I mean, there isn't anything that you can really do for someone, for a mom especially in that situation.
Sometimes I'm tired talking about it. Sometimes I'm tired of feeling. There are days I don't want to feel at all. But I know if I stop talking about it, then I won't make a difference. And if I don't keep pushing for justice, I feel like I failed Travis. I couldn't make him better. And if I have one job left for him, it's just for justice. If I fail at that job, I don't know. I hope that people remember that the people they're labeling are sick, and that somewhat help. I want people to realize that our system needs work.
want the clinics to be held accountable and follow regulations. I want people to know that Travis really was a good kid. And that he was loved. And that he tried. He really did try. He tried. It wasn't the life he wanted. Nobody would want that life. When people say they make their choices, they make the first choice. I agree, they make the first choice. After that, I don't think they do. I think the drugs and the mental health take over.